Hello and welcome to They.Were.Heroes, a D&D 5e game. How are you doing today?
I am well, thank you very much. Just had a little real life session over in a game shop, our second one. It's pretty interesting. And how are you, Asherin?
I am doing swimmingly. Today
Swimming?
had my own little game, Warhammer Fantasy, that basically jumped right into this right after it. So, let's get to the point. Today we have with us Haley. Haley, who are you going to be bringing with us on this adventure in They.Were.Heroes?
Okay, my character, he's called Greenman The Bounty Hunter.
Why don't you go ahead and start telling us a little about this bounty hunter named Billy?
Well, he's quite venerable at the moment, at 58 years of age. He is a barbarian. He's quite well muscled from travel. He wears leathers, carries a chain at his side, which he uses to kind of mostly intimidate, sometimes wrangle his targets. But that's if they get close enough. Across his chest, he has a hunting rifle strapped across his front. And mostly that is his weapon of choice if he has to use it. But only in the worst of bounties is that used to its full extent.
So Billy, he sounds like a man that has a history. What has Billy been doing to place himself in a world like this, especially after 55 years of age?
Yeah, so he is older, but he's also kept himself very fit through constant travel. It's worn him down, but also made him strong. He does have a story. A lot of it for him as well is told through the bits and bobs he's picked up on the way. He has a bit of a flaw. He's quite addicted to laudanum. Sort of like it's used medicinally, but it's also very addictive, and he's used it for quite a few years now. It's eaten into his memories a little bit.
That's something pretty big. What is it that started him on that very dangerous slope of addiction?
He knows the candle. He has a triangular shaped candle of black wax that lets off a rather dour smell. He knows it's related to that. It was given to him by some strangers he met soon after his sort of first memories of leaving his beginning town. He sort of fell in with some down and outs, and they were using it as a, they weren't hurt. They were just using it to kill time.
And he picked it up from that?
Yeah, it was a young lad back then. He was confused. He was very influenced by these people, but his memories of those days are some of the haziest. In fact, he can't even picture one of the faces of those people.
So, assuming, based off of what you told me, Billy probably doesn't know about Billy's parents.
He knows they were alive at the time, so that sort of, I guess, brings us on to his second kind of trinket, which is a white glove. This he knows he got from his hometown.
Does he know what that hometown is?
He's forgotten the name. I'm happy for you. I had a little look at the map there. Where was that I was looking at? Maybe Gravel?
Where did you say?
Gravel, it's over on the southwest.
Southwest.
On the Atreyu Plains.
Yeah. Alright. In the Atreyu Plains, right south of the Orc Mount. Okay. That's where he believes he's from?
From where he is now and kind of the path that he's followed, he thinks he might have started somewhere over there. South of the mountain range anyway.
So what led Billy to traveling so much? Why is he not a homebody? What made the dusty trail his only true home?
So Billy had a fine family. He was a little bit of a dandy in his youth. His money issues were few. Mostly just had an allowance that he would use gambling and drinking and spending it on tavern wenches and impressing his friends. But he did have a thing for one of the girls in the town, but unfortunately she was to be wed to the mayor's son. And the memory it's extremely hazy for during that the laudanum's eaten holes into this early memory of his from when he was a young man, but he remembers the glove being thrown down by the mayor's son and he shot him dead through the chest.
Well, that is a thing. So he's murdered a man.
That was his first murder. And for that, it was. I can't remember if he was banished from the town or if he just ran, not bearing to go back to his parents, and the girl he was interested in, he didn't think would be anymore. It was a bit of an awful scene. I mean, it was a pretty well-developed town. There was children playing in the streets. There was some fine ladies outside a saloon at the time.
How old was Billy at this time?
He was a young man in his 20s, early 20s.
Right, so not that young.
No. So he cut a fellow youth down early in his life.
So, for Billy's own sake, does he know if he has a bounty on his own head?
Not for that. It was hard travelling since. That it was after that he fell in with these dark-robed strangers that. Well, you know the story there. It never caught up to him, and he thinks at this point currently he thinks the mayor's probably long dead by now.
So, Billy has already shown that he has blood on his hands. About how red does the blood run in Billy's life?
He thinks the number, as he sort of did anything to feed himself, to, for entertainment money. Over the years, he thinks he's probably killed around 12 people. Again, his memory's not the best, for sure. Mostly, though, on his favour, he did deal with a lot of ruffians for the local policing force, so the marshals, the people in charge of towns. They often had some nasty jobs for him, maybe that were below them.
So you have worked with law enforcement?
Yes, I have.
Anything that jumps out of your head particularly of a case that you helped them with?
Hunting down the kills that he's counted, he rarely uses lethal force except in the circumstances where he is hunting someone who has murdered someone else, ironically. That is when he would use lethal force, and only then, no matter what he's been told to do. If he finds out that his target has killed someone, the justice he wreaks is lethal.
So, what was the most memorable capture for Billy? Something that really stuck in his mind that he couldn't forget.
Um, Probably a larger group, one of a large group of men harassing a village, perhaps that the marshal couldn't deal with by himself. He picked off members one by one and brought them into the law before finally gunning down their leader. And that was his sort of biggest achievement. After that, his reputation really grew in a pleasant way because he had brought salvation and peace to this town. So more people approached him after that for services.
What kind of a name did he warrant himself after completing such a feat?
Simply the justice giver. After that, he's also known as the Wanderer, and a murderer by those less savoury folk who would have right to fear him.
So, people think that Billy has right to fear them, but what is it that Billy truly fears?
Billy fears that some comeuppance for that first kill. He's used this laudanum to sort of forget that, but it eats away at him. Some sort of, if he ever had to face that, I mean, it's been years he's been running from it. He'd never returned home. He wasn't there for his ma and pa passing away. To be faced with that sort of problem again would be, or even to kill like another man who didn't deserve it.
So, how many innocent people has Billy taken out of the 12 he's killed?
Just the one, the first.
Okay.
He's made sure afterwards that even despite how much he was paid, that they deserved either to be brought in or murdered. And again, he only uses lethal forces on murderers. That's the only time the rifle comes out.
So, how does he normally handle issues if he doesn't have to bring out his peace giver?
With his chain, he'll catch a man and by his feet trip him down, or he's had various horses over the years and found interesting ways to use his chain to wrangle wrongdoers.
So, has Billy ever been shot?
Billy has been shot multiple times. He is punched through. Some of them are. It's mind blowing how he survived. There's one very close to his heart. There's a few on his arms. His thighs shot through. At least one a thigh. He's had many bullet wounds over the years. Most of them are white and well healed. A few of them fresh, or kind of fresh. Some have festered and eaten deeper, but he's eventually recovered.
So, what was a couple of instances? Because Billy might be a great person, but he couldn't have gotten every single person that he's hunted. What's some stories of the ones that got away?
Maybe people who have hired him to handle minor issues like theft, where the thief had a family once tracked that he was just looking out for, things they would just let go and not bother to pick up again.
So, what about the any times that Billy's been outsmarted, outdone?
Are you looking for perhaps a main guy who evaded him? Um, well, let's say perhaps a barn who was bleeding his town dry. He used like the people hired him in that instance to um, save them from the barn, find some sort of middle ground where they could be treated better. Where he had to go up against marshals in the town, um, and he couldn't break through to the barn. The marshals got in his way every step. The stronghold they had on the town was too much. There was no way he could help, no matter how he tried, even though the people were suffering.
What was this Baron's name?
Let's see. Let's go for Baron Denver Hudson.
And did Billy take this personally?
It was a situation he hadn't really come up before. Like the people had scraped together every bit of coin they could to pay for his services, and it was all for nothing. He hadn't really been stopped so early, impeded by the forces that were meant to protect the people. Usually works together with marshals and things like that when he can. The coin's especially good when it's paid for by the system. But in that circumstance, it was road walled at every step he took.
So this is one of his personal failures.
Yeah, he definitely remembers that town. Definitely remembers the barn, Denver.
Where was this at?
Let's see. So I see there's that big city there, surrounded by those forts. Maybe quite a while into his journey. Tree Hill, let's go for Tree Hill. I imagine he picked up lots of jobs around those forts next to New Crossing City. He probably ventured out to Tree Hill one day, perhaps planning to continue further across the land, and discovered this town and gripped by this selfish baron.
So after that incident, what did Billy do with his life?
He left. He still had a little coin from the work he did with the forts, and he used that coin to travel on through a rather rugged land, deserted to the town of Tumbleweed and onwards.
So, pushing those painful memories aside, we already know about how Billy doesn't truly remember his full backstory with the years gone by. Is there anybody particularly that he does remember? A son? A lover?
So he has been a bit of a philanthropist. He slept with many on his travels through the forts, through the small towns he's visited. Mostly people he'd paid for the service, and he thinks he's probably left many sons and daughters in many of the locations. As far as friends and lovers, they've all sort of blended into the one person. After a while, every friend has the same face. He thinks they eventually sort of. He's never been in one place long enough to have a proper relationship.
So he has kids out there, probably, maybe. He never checked up.
Nope, he never went back. That's why he carries the white glove with him.
Alright, so with that in mind, Billy's definitely a character. What does Billy see to be one of the worst things that he's done personally?
Oh, that's most definitely killing the mayor's son all that time ago. I think even the number he's racked up pales in comparison to the. Even though the youth kind of asked for it by asking for this jewel, he didn't try to stop it from happening. And his sort of idiotic, youthful hastiness just drew his gun and shot, and the consequences for that were pretty mentally scarring for him.
So, as far as he knows, he's not on the run from any lawmen. Is there any particular bandit groups gunning for Billy's head?
Probably all of them, and the below the that mountain range there, all the way to the coast and below the Lost Desert. I reckon any sort of bandit forces along the way there would have heard of maybe a brother bandit group falling to him and the local law enforcement.
So he's made himself infamous when it comes to those that don't follow the law.
I would say so. He's the pretty catching feature that everyone would know him by would be the narrowed hand by his waist.
So, with that in mind, how does Billy treat other races other than human? Beastkin, Verve, Crag Dwellers.
Well, you mentioned that his village was south of the Orc Mountains. I reckon Gravel would have a pretty well maintained force, maybe like a outlying frontier of some sort of militia to gun down the orcs that approach the village.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's not scared of strangers. He's met many people over the years. He's probably neutral. He doesn't care for them. He's out for himself mostly. If they had coin to pay him to do something, probably would do it. If it was for good reason.
What's probably the craziest thing that Billy has seen in his travels around the entire continent?
Sounds like one of these forts, maybe. Perhaps he travelled south first to Fort Redemption. Let's say that's a complete cesspool. So these are the people who are sent up to Gravel to maintain defence against the Orc Mountains. And basically it's a little bit like the Wall there, like maybe the nearby town Pride is riddled with drug use and whores, and the soldiers at Fort Redemption, it's a cesspit of all sorts of nasty sinnage.
So that was probably the worst thing Billy had to encounter.
Yeah, that's probably one of the first places he'd seen after leaving his hometown as well. Really opened his eyes to human nature.
So, if that was the worst, what has been the best?
Let's say just has anyone mentioned hell so far?
Nope.
Okay. Let's say that's somewhere he's recently travelled to. That's quite a distance away from his hometown. So it's probably, I imagine it takes quite a while to travel this environment. Let's say hell is one of the nicest places he's ever been. It looks like there's a port there, maybe a flourishing village. Many cultures and people are there. It's not short on food. The sea is nearby, as well as a forest. So it's probably, well balanced. There's no shortages there anyway, and the it's pretty the the marshals there have things under control.
So if a place like hell exists, what was the like? Why wasn't it a deterrent for Billy to stay there? What kept him moving when he finally found a place that he felt truly comfortable at?
Well, being such a well-maintained place, their supply of laudanum was quite low. And once he had pretty much run that dry over, I guess he would have stayed there a while, maybe a year or two. The laudanum dried up, and he was forced to move north for the first time, pretty much. As Yeah, he was forced to move north after that.
Billy doesn't have any sidekicks, animals that he finds helpful. Nothing like that.
Over the years, he has ridden many horses to their despair. He's lost many, and so he just gives them all kind of the one name now. But right now, he is without a horse. But he has had many over the years, and he does not go easy on them whatsoever. So he's got a bit of reputation. If horses could talk, they would have the worst to say about him.
So he has no remorse for killing a horse.
He's ridden a few to death.
Alright, so I think we have a lot of information about good old Billy here. He sounds like a piece of shit.
He is a piece of shit. He's a lovable piece of shit, though.
Alright, so let's move to everybody's favorite part, the legends. So, what kind of legends do we have going around of good old Billy?
Well, the first one, kind of what he's known for, is a snarled hand that as he was given at one time for doing something he's forgotten, but it is his favourite possession. It is a mummified goblin's hand that he carries at his waist. He uses this to scratch every itch on his body, from his back to other places. It is his favourite thing. He is not seen without it. But the legend is, some call him the Black Hand, and it's sort of warped from he has a black hand at his waist to he has a black hand, and it's the hand of death.
Oh, that's good. Alright, and the next one.
um, Probably something to do with the law enforcement. So maybe the word with the marshals are that when this arsehole rolls into town, it's better paying him to do something, otherwise he's going to get up to trouble. So yeah.
So, the legend is that marshals think that if you don't pay him, he's going to cause trouble.
Yeah, someone else is going to pay him to do something stupid, and it'll be more work for them to deal with.
Alright. And the third one?
Um, let's see. Let's have a quick look. Let's just say he loves coinage more than he loves his own mother. That one kind of hurts him a little bit because a lot of people say that he would leave his own mother to die if the coin was if he was like given the right price for it, and he did sort of leave his mother and father without a son when he left. So that one's the one that annoys him. Any mention of his mother's a sore point for him.
So the idea that he loves coin more than his mother's life, that's a legend. So, how about our last legend? What can be the last thing that everyone knows him?
So we've got the Black Hand. We've got the marshals, sort of what they know of him throughout the towns, through maybe travellers in advance. We know he likes coin more than his own mother. Sometimes when he's taking too much laudanum in like a bar or wherever, he starts speaking this unknown language. He'll start rambling in this hardly recognisable tongue. So he's known for that. I don't know how to put that in like a cool way.
Maybe he's known for, if you get enough drink in him, that he starts speaking the devil speak.
Yeah, the drink brings out this devil speak from him. He's a drunk demon, or he's a demon when drunk. It turns into a demon when drunk. Yeah, that sounds cool.
The drink brings the devil out of him.
Yes.
So, some legends. You heard about that there, Billy? I heard that he's the Black Hand of Death. He is. Shoot. He must be drinking on some pretty strong moonshine. Well, I see it. Only thing I know about this little guy over here is he's able to get coin right out of a purse of any marshal that he comes to town. Heck, they pay him just so he doesn't cause trouble. Pfft, cause trouble? Hell. Once I heard that he's so selfish, he'd rather take coin than let his mother live. And I swears it to the one and only. Pfft, you talking about God's boys? Tch. Only thing that darn near ne'er-do-well Billy is a devil. I heards it. When he drinks, the devil comes right up out of him, like it was already festering down in that rotten soul of his. Better stay clear of Billy the Bounty Hunter. And those are the 4 legends of Billy Greenman.
Fantastic, that sounds amazing. Hey, don't talk about my mother like that.
So, the last part of our fun little adventure of discovering Billy Greenman is going over our answers, our questions, and make sure that we have them all answered. So, where are you from? We got that, which is?
He thinks it's gravel.
And then next is, what is your family like?
Pleasant folk.
And actually, we didn't answer this one. What is your social class?
He's always travelling somewhere new. The people that meet him are either dead or glad to have their job done, and have the old man out of their hair. But yeah, the word travels faster than he does, so people usually know who he is by the blackened hand at his waist and the old rifle slung across his shoulder. So that's kind of his social class.
So in a social aspect, he's thought negatively.
Yeah, unless someone's got a problem.
Unless someone needs someone caught or dead.
Yeah, the marshals have a little bit of respect for him, but he has to prove it really every time he has to go somewhere new. You know, rumors can be blown up and legends blown up as well. So
Makes sense. So, with that in mind, what did you do before you became an adventurer? Or before you became a bounty hunter in your case?
Yep. Well, he was a young lad, and he drank and he gambled, and he used the coin he was given by his parents to pay for some company, and everything was going well for him before he murdered the mayor's son.
So he was a spoiled brat. Alright.
Yeah, he was a spoiled brat. He didn't see why it angered them that he was so well off and well done that, and the mayor's son was getting his choice of bride.
So, what did you, or why did you become an adventurer? Which we kind of answered.
Yeah, fled town, had to pay his way, had to feed himself.
Next, this is something we haven't answered. How religious is Billy?
He doesn't have much to say about the gods. If whatever gods believers have the coin to pay him to do something, then he will mete out the god's wrath.
So he only works as a vessel in godliness as much as the coin pays.
Yeah, he feels like after dealing with a few groups of these sort of religious folk that they're just as nasty as the rest of them, and except like they like to pretend that they aren't, that they're goodly people.
Makes sense. So, after that, who are your best friends and worst enemies?
Well, the people he travelled with, this group of strangers, the dark-robed strangers, they treated him well. They fed him. They took him in as one of their own, and they might have been unsavoury folks, but that's pretty much his most remembered encounter with other people. Yeah, the worst enemies. I wouldn't even call that barn, Denver, was it an enemy? It was just someone that he couldn't complete that job.
Alright. So, what are your prized possessions?
His mummified goblin hand, because there ain't no other scratcher like it. He wouldn't be without it.
Alright, and then who is he loyal to?
The coin. Simply the coin.
So the idea of money and getting money. And then finally, who do you love and who do you hate?
So both of those things, he loves and he hates as passionately and briefly as possible before the job's done in town and he can leave again. So he's an intense guy for a short amount of time before he's on to something new.
Alright, and I think that concludes everything we need to know about Billy. Is there anything you want to add before heading out of here?
When one last final thing. I don't think if I went over it. This candle that he was given by the strangers, he was told to never have it off of his possession, even though it stinks to high heavens. He was told to always have it on him, no matter what.
So maybe we'll figure out what it is this candle has to do with these strange people. Is he really retributed for his crimes in the past, or if he has more things to answer? We'll figure all this else and more out once They Were Heroes starts up. So, I want to thank everybody for coming out and chilling with us as we go through Billy the Bounty Hunter, the newest addition to They Were Heroes cast. And thank you for watching for today's Session 0. Remember, you can always help the stream out by simply watching, following, subscribing, and liking anything on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon. Everybody that includes themselves as even as simple as just doing a follow on Twitch or a sub on YouTube is tremendously helpful. We like entertaining everybody here, and being able to get our voice out of the void into your guys' ears is even better. So, if you can, and if you enjoy it, make sure you hit those buttons. And you can follow me on all those social medias with the tag Nightxgamer. So that'd be Nightxgamer on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon. Twitch and YouTube is where we have our filmed content. Everything that happens on Twitch always finds its way on YouTube, so you don't have to worry there. And then on Facebook and Twitter is where we put updates when we're going to go live, where you can talk to me one-on-one, all that kind of fun stuff. And then Patreon is where you can go and start to join and become one of the patrons with Nightxgamer, which helps create my own tabletop system that I've been working on for the past 9 years now. So if you're interested in that, you can always go on there and figure that out. But I think that fills us up here. Thank you, Haley, for spending your time going over Billy with me.
Thank you for going over my character with me.
And I look forward to using all the enemies you made through your backstory against you. Oh boy, you got a lot of them. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys next time. Peace.